Many thanks for joining us on this episode of Analysis. I am Oyi Adekunle. Now, the Christmas season is known as one of love and sharing, in which people go out of their ways to make others, especially the needy and vulnerable in the community, happy. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic has altered a lot of things in our lifestyles. And as we know, in a time of health crisis like the COVID-19 pandemic now, nutrition has become even more important, particularly in building immunity to fight the disease. Now, according to the United Nations Children's Fund, that's UNICEF, Nigeria has the second highest number of children affected by malnutrition globally, with more than 2.5 million suffering from severe acute malnutrition. And sadly, the pandemic has only made matters worse. But some individuals and bodies are stepping in to see what they can do to see that this figure is brought down significantly. And one of them is Abiodun Adeoba, the convener of Food Meets Niger, a charity initiative established to curb the menace of malnutrition and hunger among children in Nigeria. Of course, Abiodun joins us now on the program from another part of Lagos. Thank you very much, Abiodun, for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, how does it make you feel that Nigeria has the second highest number of children living, or malnourished children? And you think of it, look at our north, for instance. We can rightly call Nigeria's north the food basket of the nation. And we find that most of these children are in northern Nigeria. How does this make you feel?
Well, basically, I feel so sad for coming across these reports, because initially, I used to have a magazine and I wanted to have a food edition. I was researching online about food, and I came across this report. I felt so bad. It was so bad and terrifying. In fact, right now, I still feel so bad.
And now we know that the COVID-19 has definitely dealt its own blow in terms of contributing to the number of malnourished children in Nigeria. But let's look at the factors now. What would you say drives, like I rightly said initially, northern Nigeria, there's food. Nigeria literally boasts of lush vegetation, agriculture. We can feed the nation. The government says we have grains enough to even feed neighboring countries, for instance. So what exactly is the problem? What are we not getting right?
Well, the grassroots of the problem is the terrible economic situation of Nigeria, basically. That's the grassroots, because a lot of people feed, as of last year, like the poor feed, there are some Nigerians that feed under 50 cents. I mean, in a day. Now it's 25, because the dollar is currently increasing gradually. I mean, so it's basically the economic situation of Nigeria is the grassroots of the problem, and I realized that a lot of people are not going into agriculture. Basically, they are not, practicing agriculture sincerely. Agriculture is like our strongholds. If we can focus on agriculture, definitely we can curb the menace of hunger and malnutrition in Nigeria. I mean, so that's my own solution. And the grassroots of the problem is the terrible economic situation of the country.
And let's talk more about solution now. You started the Food Meets Niger initiative. Why exactly did you decide to go? There are 1,001 other things you could have decided to take up, but why malnutrition?
Well, like I said, initially I was going to I was making research for my magazine, and I came across these, statistics from UNICEF as of 2018, because the initiative started 2018. I looked through the research. I looked through the research, and I found out that after India, it's Nigeria, and the terrible situation of children that are going to die. Children, as of 2018, the research was 88,000 children at risk of dying. So 88,000 children at risk of dying is like, I mean, a genuine reason, a purpose to start something. Because if you can actually save, let's just say, few out of the 88,000 children, since 2018 we've been able to reach out to over 3,000 children. Yeah, 3,000 minus 88,000, I mean, is something. And we gradually try to, communicate to people, to try as much as possible to donate to the cause, to try as much as possible to do something. I mean, to just save to announce the fact that malnutrition is underreported. So this is the purpose that drove me into curbing the menace of malnutrition.
But when you say malnutrition is underreported, what exactly do you mean by that?
Yeah, since 2018, we've not gotten any reports concerning the malnutrition cases, malnourished children in Nigeria, apart from the UNICEF's reports, which was reported 2018. So, like, a lot of the last time I saw anything on malnutrition was on channels. That was in 2018 or early 2019. Like, malnutrition is like a silent crisis. It is a big crisis, but it's silent because, like, a lot of people don't really see it as a cause, because a lot of children are dying. 1 in 5 children die of malnutrition. So it is underreported. Like, if you go online and just try to search for malnutrition in Nigeria or the latest malnutrition cases in Nigeria presently, what you're going to see is the UNICEF report, which came out in 2018. So that was what I meant by it is underreported.
I mean, we'll come back to that later, but let's also talk about food that we provide for children now. You probably would have come across that phrase that you're what you eat. And you agree that it's not enough to just provide food for children. It's necessary. There are nutritional food that provides certain nutritional benefits that children need to grow, that the body, for instance, needs to fight immunity. How would you say that people are really aware as a country, for instance? Because it looks to me like what we're concerned about is eat to survive. How important are the classes of food, for instance, that we eat? How necessary or how important is it for children to eat the right kind of food?
It is very, very essential to have all the classes of food when you are feeding. Even as an adult, it's very important to have all the classes of food. So initially, when I started with my team, the initiative Food Meets Niger, we went to a slum at Iwaya. So we bought apple, we bought carrots, we boiled several eggs, we took milk, bottled water, just to make an example of what it's supposed to look like. And I wouldn't blame a lot of people for not having the balanced diet, every day, because of the level of poverty in Nigeria. So, I mean, basically that's what I think is affecting a lot of people from having this balanced diet in their food. I mean, when they can't even afford to, you can imagine the price of onions the other time. Onions, ginger, they are oxidants, and they have important roles to play while eating. Watermelon is very, very important to eat. The watermelon seed is highly nutritious. Of recent, a lot of people say beans is proteinous, but funny enough, to the fact that I got beans is highly carbohydrate than protein. So we need to, the education needs to go around, and that's why we are here to actually try to push this out to people.
And now let's just know more now about this Your Food Meets Niger initiative. I understand that you organized one recently during the Christmas period. For a lot of people, I mean, COVID-19 has affected a lot of things, businesses and all of that. So we probably would not have seen enough outreach as we would have seen, as we saw probably last year. But you went ahead and did yours this year. Please tell us more about that outreach you had on the 27th of December. Please tell us more.
Oh, yes. On the 27th of December was fantastic because since the beginning of this year, we had a lot of plans. So last year we went to 3 states. We went to Ajegunle, another part of Ajegunle. We went to Abeokuta, and we went to Idi-Anyure in Oyo State, Ibadan. So the plan for last year was to try to donate bowl for this community because they are really suffering. And like 5 people died of cholera last year in Lafenwa slum in Abeokuta. So we tried to commence this project this year, 2020. But we started with World War and COVID, which really destroyed a lot of plans. But in the midst of all this, we just had to plan towards reaching out to people this December. We went to Ajegunle slum on the 27th. we shared food items, we shared fruits, apple. We also shared clothing materials, clothes, caps, and other clothing materials that can make them have a lovely Christmas and also a lovely New Year, because sincerely they need to look good too. So that we just thought about some of the people that they brought us clothes, and we shared it with them. So basically we just shared food items and fruits and water to these children in the community. So that was what we did for this year. Although we practiced social distancing, all the team members wore their face mask, and we were so.
I'm quite happy to hear that, because protecting ourselves is quite necessary, very important at this time. And then let me also ask you: would this initiative just be for Christmas, or is it something that you intend to carry on? Because malnutrition, really, we don't have to wait until Christmas before children get good food. Okay. So is this something you wait until Christmas, or you hope to evolve over time? Okay,
like I said, it started 2018 when I was a core member, and here in 2020 we are still running it. So we have a lot of plans. So let me just briefly tell you the plans. So we intend to, bring in empowerment program for women, which can actually bring food to their table. So we realize that since the economic situation is terrible, which is leading to hunger and which is leading to malnutrition amongst the children, we can actually try. One of the strategies we are bringing on board is to create an empowerment program for these people that can bring food on their table on a daily basis, so that it won't have to be the economic crisis that's affecting them to go hungry, that is affecting the children to be malnourished. And at the same time, we are also trying to educate them. So we have, under Food Meets Nigeria, we have the Empower the Slum. We have Charity with Food. Charity with Food is what we do for Christmas, just go out and just give them something. So Empower the Slum is to, basically, give them these soft skills that can put food on their table. Then we have Foodication. Foodication is coined from food and education. So we intend to go to schools, and it's in the beginning of this year, but because of COVID, like I said, Foodication is just to teach them about importance of eating good food and the importance of staying healthy, because these children are the future of the country. And if they can know one or two things, okay, don't let me take this, or it's better I take this, it's going to really help them out, because these children also, a lot of things we consume, it's only God that saves us. But we have to just, give them that education, and probably from competition, maybe a football, something healthy, those are the plans we have. And we also have plans for agriculture in the future. That's our long-term goal, to have our lands, and we try to bring back youth into agriculture, and we plant, and we get some farm produce, we share out to the market, try and reduce the cost of these products for people. We are going to empower the farmers, give them seedlings. We have to do seminars for farmers. So these are our plans for 2021. So.
Oh, great, very great, brilliant initiative, I must say. But lastly, before I let you go now, Biodun, let's look at the role of government in all of this. Would you say that the government has done enough to, say, incorporate the importance of nutrition in the development plan? We talk about SDG, but really, do you think that we speak a lot, or we do as much as we should be doing to address malnutrition in Nigeria?
Well, the government, well, they are trying their best, but I don't even want to talk about Nigerian government, because sincerely, this thing dilapidates over time. It's not even getting better. It's not getting better at all. Coming from the angle of the economic situation of the country, down to the nutritional factor for children. It's just the children's rights, man. Like, sincerely, having good nutrition, having good water system, I mean, it's the right of these children.
Like,
they are not supposed to be denied.
It's just basic, right?
Okay. Yeah,
please go ahead.
It's the basic thing that needs to just come to the table. Like, sincerely, it's their rights. I mean, we just have to. But I feel the government have plans. I don't know about the government, but what I have to say is that we are the individuals, we that are out here that want to, do something. Let's just do it. Let's assist the government. They can't really do it all alone. They need our help, and that's why we are here. In fact, we also try to tell the government to also, look into, some of these NGOs are focusing on nutrition and try as much as possible to empower them with one or two things so that they can actually do it. I mean, the government can't just do it alone.
Well, thank you very much, Biodun, for sharing your thoughts with us on this program, and I wish you all the very best. Well done, and going forward, we wish you all the very best with your initiative. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Well, we'll take a very short break now, and when we return, we'll continue the conversation. Don't go away. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us on Analysis on TV 360 Nigeria. Let's now continue the discussion on the impacts of COVID-19 on malnutrition, and this time also include women empowerment. Joining me now on the program is Tokunbo Fashoro, a business coach and the founder of BI Empowerment Initiative. Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Tokunbo.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel privileged. Thank you.
First off, my question to you would be, Nigeria is known, or according to UNICEF, Nigeria is the second highest country with the number of malnourished children. How exactly do you feel about that?
Well, it's quite unfortunate. I don't know how to start this, but, the truth is, many Nigerians are not even aware of this situation. I remember, growing up, I'm grateful to God for the opportunity we had and all that. And most times that is all that we know until we take our time to actually go out there to see the real world and discover that there's so many children, not even children, even adults that are malnourished. And I'm grateful to God for the opportunity He gave to me by exposing me to this truth. And I found out that there are there are so many communities out there that they have children that can barely eat one meal, a balanced meal. I'm not even talking about a balanced meal, one meal per day. It is that bad.
And I know that you work with women, you also work with children, and the COVID-19 has, of course, come to disrupt our lives, basically.
Yeah.
And how bad has it been, or how has this worsened the situation?
The truth is, like in the community I go to work in, I just go to do some volunteer work. When I discovered that place, it was quite painful. I realized that some people don't even get to eat at all day. And it's really so bad. So you can imagine when the COVID now hit, and most of these people are people that do daily jobs, and they couldn't now go out to work. And aside that, a lot of people, some of them do all these factory jobs and all that. Many of those factories were shut down, and also it really affected them. And then that particular environment, it's the Oworo, I call it, it's the Oworo axis in Lagos, that particular area. Because the truth is, I don't know, I'm just so passionate about this thing. There are a lot of environment that is this bad, but I had to just focus on a certain, because how much can I or my organization do? There's just so much to do. So I just decided to just pick an environment, and I just gave it, I just picked a scope, or how do I put it, and then focused on that area. I realized that the rate of there was a high level rate of robbery, lots of criminal activities, because people were hungry. So even people that ideally were not usually into maybe robbing or stealing, because they needed to feed their family, they started breaking into shops and houses of people that they assumed or thought had food. So aside the fact that it led to a lot of hunger around, it also led to a higher rate of criminal activities in that environment. It was just so sad. And I don't know, I'll just like to really mention this. I remember they came into that particular environment, and they were asking for their names, that they were going to give them the COVID relief. And at the end of the day, these people never got anything. So I had to run around, call friends, look for people who could contribute for us to be able to at least feed these people. But the truth is that how much can we do? We were able to do some. Maybe it was able to feed a family for like, say, 1 week or 2 weeks. They are hungry again and all that. So I feel that there has to be something that can give a lasting solution to this. It's not just a one-off kind of solution. There's already a problem out there. It's bad enough that poverty, they are naturally poor. And then the COVID now hit. That has even made it even really worse. And I just feel that the government needs to step up. There's a lot that you need to do. It's bad enough these people don't have the infrastructure. They don't even have water. They have to buy water. The water they are buying. When you fetch the water today, by tomorrow, the water is already turned brown. And then there's too much stress. You have a place to have your back. And then to eat it is so much. It's such a privilege. I think it's something that government needs to find a solution to this thing. They really need to do that.
We'll definitely come to the part of government very soon, but let's also look at some of the challenges that your own organization has faced. I mean, we talk about 2020. There's hardly anything we talk about we do not mention COVID-19. We know how this has affected companies, for instance, profits and all of that. Companies that, or organizations that you see probably go out normally for outreaches or reach out to women and children in rural communities and all of that. Many of them would point at COVID and say maybe they've been incapacitated by a lack of funds.
Absolutely.
And all. So what exactly is that challenge for your own organization, for instance?
You've already mentioned the major challenge. The major challenge is funding. Like you said, even those that used to give us funds before that we could easily run to, there are people that the COVID has hit as well. So that has reduced the amount of funding that we currently get. But the truth is that these people are really, really, really suffering. And however, we cannot just turn. I was just sharing with someone today that it's not like I am totally comfortable and I have enough. But the truth is that there are people out there that can't even eat, and you just have to do something. So one of the major challenges that we have is funding. That's one. Then two, I could say, let me just say it's funding, because there's just so much to do. And how much can you do? People have not eaten. I'm looking at the environment and I'm saying these people also need water. We have to sort out the issue of water. They don't even have water. They buy water. You can imagine if they could save the amount of money. I went into the space and I went to do an assessment. I found out that an average person spends a minimum of 500 naira every week on water, buying water. So imagine that stress or that responsibility is taken care by the government. The government takes care of providing good water for them. You have saved them that amount of money. They don't have water. They don't have bathrooms. They wake up as early as 4 a.m. to shower so that their naked bodies are not seen. So you can imagine the challenges are numerous. And the major challenge I have is I want to do so much, but how much can I do? We need to make sure that their basic needs are even sorted. So we're even still trying to see how we can sort out the issue of them even able to eat, that survive. How much before thinking about, they also need to shower. They also need to live in a better environment. And because the environment is so messed up, you see them falling sick and they can't even afford drugs. That's why there's also a high level of death. The death rate is so high. People die there. Anytime it rains in Lagos, I'm always afraid because I may just receive a call that we just lost 2 people. It's that bad because the housing is so poor, because their structures are so they're so weak, and they're so, they're not proper structures. They just put stuff together to just have a roof over their head. The kind of roofs and structures that they built there are they use materials that, like, made of aluminum and all that. And then when it's so windy, the wind just blows, and then the aluminum can just go and hit anybody and kill the person. So those are the challenges that we have. So for me, the challenges, they're just too much. They're too much. And you don't even know where to start as an individual or as an NGO. Because you're asking yourself, would you want to sort out the issue of feeding? Would you want to sort out the issue of water? Would you want to sort out the issue of the bathrooms and the toilets? Or even the housing? The basic, basically, there's just so much.
And these are serious issues that you have raised that we actually need to pay serious attention to. But lastly, before I let you go now, Tokunbo, we know that nutrition is a key point for the Sustainable Development Goals. So I'll just ask you now, you've talked about governments providing solutions, stepping in and all of that. I quite agree with you. But what kind of investments would you want to see to really see that nutrition is improved, or we achieve improved nutrition in Nigeria?
Yeah, okay, for me, going into this space was something that I never planned. I'm an HR generalist. I've been in human resources all my life, doing training and all that. It was church that kind of exposed me to that environment. And I just discovered that working with them, when you empower one woman, just one woman, you find out that you're giving food to an average of 4 children. So what I decided to do is to focus on empowering women, because a woman cannot just sit down and watch her children go hungry. So I believe that it's not like we can start, doing big things. But even if we can start with the small thing by empowering women, when you empower a woman, you can imagine, look at this picture. Do you think this woman would sit down and watch her child hungry? But if you empower her, you give her something to do, something that can make her earn a living, something that can make her, that can give her the power to feed her children and send her children to school. Part of what we do in Oworu, we have empowered women that today they are paying their children's school fees out of the little small businesses that they have started. It's super amazing. Children, many of those children are not even going to school. They are not going to school. People that cannot eat, many of them don't go to school. There's a particular woman, I'm even trying to figure out what to do with her. Her 3 children, one of them is 8 years old, and she's not the only one. They are not even going to school. So, but in the past, what we've done is we've empowered, at least when we empower those women, you go to them, they tell you, that they are doing contribution to 2,000 naira every month. And then you ask them, what are you doing with the contribution? They are saying that aside that the contribution is to pay their children's school fees. So aside them able to feed their family from the business, they are also able to pay school fees from it. So I feel that it's going to be amazing if the government can try to be like women focused and see how they can help them develop skills and knowledge that can help them earn an income. Because if you empower one woman, you are empowering a generation.
Very well said. Tokunbo Fashero, the founder of BI Empowerment Initiative, we thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us on the program, and well done for the great works you're doing with women in rural communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, on that note, we've come to the end of this episode of Analysis. We thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again next time. I am Uni Adekunle. Bye for now.